was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard to go abroad by myself as the first one in this program with nobody else from my school there, and, you know, survive by myself. It was difficult, but, you know, I did it, and I learned that I can do basically whatever I want to do now because, you know, I did this really difficult thing by going to another country and where I didn't speak the language very well, and you know, going to school and studying and making it through. So you definitely pick up a lot of new skills and learn a lot, you know, about yourself and you know, things you might not have expected about yourself, that you are a lot stronger than what you think.
Well, I'm going to try to explain you basically the cultural differences between France and the USA. It's not easy to explain like this, but we're going to try. Actually, something which is difficult for an American or a foreigner, first of all, when he goes to France, is that, I don't want to criticize my own country, but French are kind of close-minded, if I can say it this way. And if you go to a person trying to speak in English, he won't reply you. He was going to say that he don't speak English, even it's false. People do speak English in France. People actually want foreigner to try to speak French and all, and not to come to them speaking in English. So that's something that may have happened to you at the beginning. You're coming, you're trying to speak English with people to help you, and they're like, no.
It's mostly not students, I found. You know, it's like older people that are kind of like want to preserve the language or something. I found it maybe even a little bit more when I was in Paris, and they just did not want to even. But I always try to speak some French, and then they are more like willing to speak English back to you or try to help you some.
I remember the first few weeks I was there, I went into a bakery during one of my breaks from school, and I was trying to order in French, and the lady behind the counter was like, "It's okay, I speak English," because my French is so terrible. So she was like, "It's okay, I understand, I speak English." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." So if you try, you know, and make an effort first, they're a lot. They usually make an effort to help you out.
So you mean if I'm gonna speak with person who speak French and I'm gonna speak in English, so even though you know English, but he will not speak in English?
Depends.
So why? Like a reason because you're proud of your language?
Yeah, we're kind of conservative sometimes, but most of people would speak with you in English.
Even though they know I'm an international student. I'm not from French, I'm from a different country, so I just speak English because English is the Philips language right now, I believe. So everyone speaks English. So I'm just wondering.
I totally agree with you. Basically, it depends. As Grace said, it depends on the people. In Saint-Etienne, there are a lot of students, so you may have seen many people hearing you speaking in English, coming to you, trying to speak in English.
They wanted to speak in English.
Some people, young people basically, or people that went to high school, to college, they know English and they won't speak English. They're gonna try to do it. That interests them. But if you go to Paris, and basically I have to stress this, people from Paris are definitely not the same as French people in general. For me it's a different country, Paris. And actually, if you go to people that are older, they're gonna look at you and say, "You're in France, try to speak French, you get to learn it." That's the point. If you're coming to a high school or a city where there is a lot of students, or anywhere student, he's gonna help you. Like, yeah, they don't care, just depend on the people. So that was the first point, and yeah, I'm gonna do a transition with this about Paris. Most American people I know that told me they've been to France, they only have been to Paris while doing a European tour. And some of them are really disappointed, things that I can understand. To tell you the truth, people for me are mean in Paris. And that's something yeah, you get to understand people are different in Paris and in the west of France. Paris is one of the most, I don't know, one of the most visited city in the world. So what I heard from Parisians is that they have millions of tourists every year. So they're kind of, they don't want to see any tourists. That's just what they say. It's like this, but if you go wherever in France, people are different. So if anybody has the opportunity to go in France, I would recommend you to go half Paris for real. That's my recommendation. What else can I say? In France, you get a lot of formality when you speak French, which is totally different from here. We've been a bit shocked by coming to a store at the beginning and people asking, how are you? We're like, for real? People are interested about us when we're going to when we're in France, and people are looking at the sellers, people that sell the cloth are looking at you and go, do it by yourself. And even we get something we call vouvoiement in French. Vouvoiement. And basically, if you speak to a friend, you're going to speak to him another way than speaking to a teacher or your boss. You get to do, it's a
mark of respect.
Yeah, it's a mark of respect. And that may be difficult for people learning French because you get to know how to speak different to someone you know, someone you don't know, how to speak with who. And that's something, without speaking about this, in the USA people are really more close. When you go, you speak to a teacher, you basically are more close to him. You don't have the same relation. And generally in Europe, I think that's the same. People don't have the same relation in Europe between them than in the USA. That's something really difficult. There are many things which are not easy when you're going abroad. And this is one of the things, like you get to adapt speaking to a teacher or your boss, like if it was your friend in France, for example. So that's something difficult. A lot of other things, some of you may know that the difference in France is most universities are free, any university, except in the case of business schools that are private and you get to pay for. But mostly school system, government, health system are totally different. So we're taking class here in HR, for example, and we get to learn all of the HR stuff, how you behave with your boss. The company works in the USA, which is totally different from France or from Europe. The government system, which is really difficult for us. All these things, you get to adapt to it. What else? All of the behavior. When you go abroad, everything's new. You're going to buy things, you're going in the store. It's an adventure for you to go buying some things. I think you may have seen it. I don't know. You don't know how to behave in a restaurant, for example. I went in a restaurant in the USA the first time. I was like, people are not behaving the same at all from France. To communicate, there is a lot of implied language. You do something that means something in France or in Europe. Here it's different. I still didn't get everything, but you get more. It's really not the same way to communicate. I'm not speaking about the language, which is first of all difficult, but then you get to learn how to communicate to people. Yeah, that's it for it. A lot of things. I won't be able to explain everything in 1 hour, but we've been shocked by advertising on TV, for example. It's like so different in the USA than it is in France. Everything's different, so that's something that's difficult. Going abroad is not something easy, but it's worth it. For if you can do it, just go ahead. And that's going to be, as I said, that was one of the best experiences of my life.
What is shocking about the advertising? You mentioned it's shocking. What is shocking about it?
Comparative advertising for me, it's not allowed in France, for example. So if Walmart says that, I I don't know, comparing something to another, you have advertising about politics, which shocks me. I saw people criticizing President Barack Obama. I was shocked by how they were talking about him. People are really all involved in politics in France. You know, French was people going to strikes and all that stuff. But people were criticizing him in a way that shocked me. I'm not spending a lot of time in front of my TV, but actually there are many things that shock us. We are having an advertising class, and we're learning things that would not be possible in France. So that's interesting because you know another way to do things, but still you discover a lot.
You mean there's no freedom in French?
Oh, there is, but it's not freedom for me, as I was saying about politics. It's more about respect. But that's another debate. But there is freedom. It's more of people would not. It would be unrespectful to criticize somebody or something openly. That is.
About religion there. Can I practice any religion in French?
Yes, you can.
You can.
But one of the things, mostly if you're, schools in France, they're like, what do you say?
Secular.
Sorry?
Secular. Secular. Laïque.
Like.
Thank you.
So that means that you can go to school with a cross or whatever you want, like a kippa or you can show your religion actually. You can practice, but not show to everyone.
Yeah, that's something that's another difference we had in the US. There are many people showing their religion and all that stuff. And I don't want to be unrespectful, but that shocked me the first time I was here. I saw many people showing and talking about their religion. So that's something different. You won't find that much people showing their religion. First of all, because in France, that's not the law doesn't allow you to go to your university showing that you're from this religion.
Even though my religion forced me to do something.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm a Muslim. And then women in Islam, they have to get the scarf, like something covering face. So they cannot do that.
Actually, it depends. They can do that, but they can get the full one, like the burqa.
They can't wear the full
That's
hijab.
also
got
said
you. It's called a hijab, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a big debate in France about it, about politics and all that stuff. Then, yeah, actually, today it's not allowed you to wear a full one. You can go, yeah. Yeah.
Is it any parts in French? Like any,
Yeah, anywhere.
anywhere?
Yeah.
Do you have something to tell us?
You seem to touch it all pretty good.
How about the food? You didn't mention the food.
Yeah, the food. Yeah, you're right, that's so big deal. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's as much as politics, actually. And, yeah, French are known as food lover, and you can try. Go and ask your friend what he misses the most from France. He won't talk about his family, he's going to talk about food. And for real. Yeah, there is a lot of different food from different parts of France, as you in the USA, but people love food and it's important for France to share its mealtime. Something people don't have, I think, in the USA. You eat by yourself in front of your TV, or not especially with your parents. I always did it, so I was always eating with my parents, my family, every day. And that's something not mandatory, but you do it, you're used to it. So the mealtime is important, and food is important. That may be really difficult for an American to go in a restaurant, in a French restaurant. And some need you to behave in a certain way. You don't know when you're American, but I got, for example, teachers that told me when she went to France, she went to a restaurant in Paris, and she saw the bakery, she wanted it directly.